For my observation, I got to observe a class learn about sound waves. And I chose a certain experiment that the teacher did for my oral report because it stood out to me as something that stuck with the students. For this experiment, all you would need was a slinky and a strobe light. You would have one student on one end of the slinky holding it while the teacher was on the other end setting vibrations through it. The lights were off and the room was pitch black. Another student was controlling the strobe light and how fast it blinked. The teacher was sending the same wave through the slinky throughout the whole time, and the student with the strobe light, his job was to find the right frequency of the strobe light to make the slinky appear like it wasn't moving at all. When this happened, the students were amazed and awed, and you would hear that in their voices, even in the dark room. The strobe light would stop and the lights were turned back on to reveal that the slinky was still moving. While this was happening, the teacher would ask questions and then give answers while explaining even further of what was happening. The second part of this, the students were paired into groups and sent to computers where they would record sound waves from a tuning fork onto the computer. They were given a worksheet to go along with this, and what they got from the computer was 2 points that they needed to have in order to get answer questions on that worksheet in order to get other points about the sound waves. This is the worksheet. They were required to fill in the boxes for different frequencies of sound. Once they were done, they would hand it in to the teacher, and that was the end of the period. The first website I found, discoveryeducation.com, teaches the same subject in many different small experiments. The small experiments would be set up in labs around the classroom for the student to go from one to the other, testing out the sound waves. At lab 1, they would see the vibrations through a rubber band. At lab 2, they would see the vibrations through water using a tuning fork. At lab 3, they would put a paper clip on a drum and tap the drum and see how the paper clip moved. At lab 4, they would use their own voice and make a ah noise while tapping their throat. At lab 5, they would hold the end of the ruler firmly against the top of the table, snap the other end, and ask what do they see. At lab 6, they would tap the utensil against something and then put it up to the ear and ask what do they hear. This way of doing it is best probably for larger classrooms where one large experiment is hard to be seen by everyone. The next website I found was teachvisions.com. This site shows how to teach the same subject with a simple experiment. All the teacher needs is an empty soup can, large balloon, flashlight, small mirror, and glue. The rubber band is put around the can to hold the balloon on it. The small mirror is glued to the middle of the balloon. The flashlight is aimed at the mirror and to show the reflection of light on the ceiling. Then the teacher or student makes a sound at the other end of the can or at the bottom of the can to see the vibrations on the ceiling reflection. This is a very good way to teach sound waves when you do not have a lot of money to spend on materials. The third website I found was teachengineering.org. This site showed a way to teach sound waves in a series of small experiments. The first experiment, you would strike a tuning fork and place it next to a ping pong ball and ask the class, why did the ping pong ball move? The second experiment had you tape a mirror to the side of a milk carton and speak into the opening in the top and see the reflection off the mirror vibrate. The third experiment, you would place the tip of a spatula on the desk with the handle extended over the side. Pull the handle down and let it go. Discuss with the class what happens to the handle after you let it go. The fourth experiment, you fasten a rubber band to a doorknob and pluck it. You discuss with the class what happens to the rubber band when it's plucked. The fifth experiment has a balloon and you stretch it out next to a boombox. You play music on the boombox and watch the balloon vibrate. You discuss with the students why the balloon vibrates. So if you ever find yourself teaching about sound waves, here are some sites that will help you out.